Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Could you tilt your screen down? I need to see some detail in the room so it doesn't look like a hostage situation. Okay, much better.
Oh, does that hurt you that I don't have anything back there?
It was just all white. It was just the top of your head in white.
And the white. Hey, Josh, I'm doing widescreen now.
Where did he go? It's just a pair of floating glasses.
The world's stupidest man. How you doing? Oh, I'm Andy Hedrum.
Swagger?
What's that one? Is that what he used to say?
Yeah, that was Max Headroom.
Max Headroom was funny, right? I don't know much about him.
Don't use references you don't know, Andy.
I don't know him that well.
That's so Dennis Miller.
I did a takeoff on him that was very poor.
Yeah.
It wasn't my idea.
Huh. It's better when the poor ideas aren't yours, isn't it?
This is actually another good story that doesn't make me look bad, but just embarrassing. It was on Fox Sports, and they used to be every Sunday. Susan used to go down there with me, and they dressed me up as the geek.
Yeah.
And I was called the geek, and I would go, I think the Jets will beat the Saints 14-13. Stuff like that.
The one thing I've learned is over the course of this series, if I can call it that, this podcast, is just how many small opportunities you've had along the way. Like that.
What do you mean?
Like being the geek on Fox Sports and being.
Oh, yes, I've had tons of these things.
Yes.
Well, you know about Globey, right? When I dressed up as an inflated globe for Comedy Central?
I do, yes.
Yeah, that's
another example.
Yeah.
Where I didn't really know it until we were talking about it here.
Yeah, and so I was on a contract with them. Like I had like a 1 year or almost like a year and a half contract with them, or 2 years even.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing that was terrible was I worked with this guy.
A holding deal, which is ironic for football because that's a penalty.
No, it wasn't a holding deal. It was we're going to pay you deal. I should probably describe. Oh, you just tried to do a joke and I tried to ruin it.
Because it's about your career. Why? Because we can't make jokes about that.
So I want to complete the story because why not complete one story over the whole situation?
It was my fault. Please go.
So here's the problem. The problem was it was working with a guy I always hated. I hated him before I worked with him, and I hate him afterwards, and I despise him now. I realize a lot of it's my problem because I bought into him. Jim Rome. I hate Jim Rome.
Well, I mean, the best of people hate Jim Rome.
Right. He was one time my favorite moment in my life was when Jim Everett said, "If you call me Chrissy one more time, I'm going to knock you over, or I'm going to attack you." He goes, "Okay, Chrissy," and then he got knocked over.
Kablunga, yeah.
Kablunga. Had he died, not a funny story. You know what I mean?
Right.
It would have been violence is bad, and Jim Everett was wrong.
Still not as funny as the pogo stick, but it was pretty good.
It's true. So I really hated him, and I didn't write this character. It was written for me. And then so a couple of years later, not even a couple of years later, when the show got canceled, it wasn't a very good show. Kevin Frazier was the other host. You know him? He's like, this guy, Tonight Show, evening around time tonight on Evening Tonight. So he was one, and then Jim Rome was
Evening Tonight.
I don't think that was this one. And then right after my show was when the CBS, it was done where the same guys like James Brown, all those guys did their show. So that was also embarrassing. The real people would come in. Well, real people.
Terry Bradshaw would come in and give you noogies.
Well, be Howie. What's the guy Howie? Never liked anybody touch his hair.
Howie Long.
Yeah. So who
was trying to touch Howie Long's hair?
Nobody would. Because he said, "Don't touch it.
Don't touch Howie Long's hair."
Yeah, it's like,
don't look Jimmy Fallon in the eyes.
It's not a good prank to go ahead and touch Howie Long's hair when he's 5,000 feet tall. So then I hear that Jim Rome is slamming me. And I had to work with that geek. He's slamming me on the air.
But your character was the geek, wasn't it?
No, but he was slamming me.
Okay.
It was just after it was over. It was a horrible job. He should never have taken the job. And he had to work with that stupid geek, that horrible geek character. And, and I hated him before and I hated him after. And I guess not as good as an anecdote as I thought it was. But you know what? I think I need to go to a Toastmaster school.
It's an example where everyone can join in on the hate. Well,
do you know TJ Mark Walter, who used to be my agent?
Sure.
He also, he listened to Rome all the time. So he, of course, is the first person to let me know Rome's slamming you. Rome, because if you lived in the area, you either loved Rome or you hated Rome or you loved Rome.
Right.
And so he was a popular character in this Southern California area.
Sure. And if you're a sports guy, you can be the guy that people love to hate. You can be Stephen A. Smith. You can be, there's plenty of slots for people who.
Yes, and he's like a Stephen A. Smith guy. He's exactly like Stephen A. When people go, oh, Stephen A. Smith, they say about him or they say about Jim Rome. He was good high school tennis or something like that.
The most dangerous place in the world to be is between them and a nuance.
That's a great joke.
It's the opposite, though.
No, them and nuance.
No.
Oh.
If they loved nuance, it would be the most
the furthest thing, the thing I'll never find. But I got the joke.
Yeah, I know.
Because we both knew
it had the right flavor. Yeah.
And I don't usually listen to jokes.
That was good. No, it was good. You took all the way to the end. You went with that one.
Now, I want to tell you about this Cameo experience. Although I don't want you to tell you. I just want to tell you because of a couple of the classic things. I'm not going to go into a long thing about it, but I had a horrible back and forth with this guy, and I
assume it's a spiraler, so they're listening now too.
Oh no, I told him never listen to the show again.
Oh, okay, that should work.
Okay, I'm sorry, Josh. Do you know? They also ask questions.
I don't know who it is.
I'm not going to say the guy's name. So I've done 2 or 3 of cameos for him, and sometimes you think like, oh, you're going along, these people enjoy you, and if they usually enjoy you, they go, great job, buddy, buddy. This time, he gives me a review of 2 stars. Don't make cameos at 5 a.m, he says to me, which might be good advice in general.
Sure.
But
it wasn't meant as friendly advice.
No, he also said you were running out the clock on it. You're running out the clock on it. And then we got into this big blow up.
What was it? Can I ask what the original Cameo request was?
Oh yeah, it's always been for his wife Sue. He's always been for his wife, Laura. It's always been for his wife. She's and here's the thing you start to notice about people. They listen to the show, so you think that means that they have a level of understanding. No, they might listen to the show and be for all the reasons. Right. And they might hate me. Maybe they listen to the show for you and they hate the.
They might be Jim Roming you. They might.
Right. So I look back.
But they also are probably going afterwards and going, well, he's very funny for free.
So I look back at his first request, I remember even thinking, oh, this could be bad, but I didn't think anything because they were so happy. His first request was, just be Andy Kindler. You do what you do, to be a smidgen this way, but not too sappy. Okay. Right? That was his first instruction.
Okay.
And then we loved it. You're the king, blah, blah, blah. Second one, we loved it. You're the king. And so it's all about how, and he's trying to be funny in his description. I got a hot, can I say non-specifics? He listens to the show. Maybe I shouldn't say anything then. Okay, He knows who he is. But he tries to be funny about his wife, and he tries to be funny about his tween kids. He goes, the tween kid won't talk to us. I think he's trying in a way to be funny, but he's also a guy
But I think sounds like he's also trying to give you some fodder.
Right, he's trying to give me some fodder. And he's also a guy who thinks that he's hiring a clown for a birthday party or he's hiring a birthday cake, and he thinks he's an employer. I mean, he just basically he thinks, and he goes, because he said never make cameos at 5 a.m. I'll still listen to the show or something like that. I'm still listening to Thought Spiral.
Yeah.
So the thing that's amazing about it is when you look back, and then I thought the things that he thinks are funny, like what he calls his wife or he calls his things, they just can't seem to me as very, very mean-spirited. I think he thinks he's being funny, and he's also in charge. He's also paying me $45 goddamn dollars. Right?
It's hard for me to not listen to the story without you speaking directly to him. Since you are speaking to him as you're telling me this story.
Oh no, it's already done. I mean, I've already spoken to him. You're thinking that this is an end around of me making him look worse.
I don't think it's deliberately that.
Then forget it. Man.
But I don't at all think it's deliberately that. I'm just feeling that it's like.
Okay, let's forget that. I'm sorry. And now I've created more editing time.
No. I mean, I kind of want to hear the upshot. I really do now. But No. I just don't. We don't need to take the guy apart.
Is that. What's that?
We don't need to totally take him apart in his letters.
No. But then he started to leave. I realized.
What happened after you got his review?
I had an interaction with him.
Yeah.
Very don't ever call. You don't need to listen to that, right?
No, now I'm interested. It was the backstory that I was.
You want me to read some of the things? I was very proud of myself.
All right, go if you're proud of yourself.
No, you said don't do it.
No. I was just trying to describe what I was feeling as you were telling it to me. Because I'm listening with one head going, and the other one going, so's the guy he was having this fight with listening.
Yes. So I can't find his thing.
I feel like I should go do a podcast with him to get the Rashomon story.
Well, you heard what he said, right?
I just saw the one thing. So
I said to him, do me a favor. First of all, I have him on free. I have all of my lovely clients. Susan's hearing the story for the first time. I have all my lovely. It's not a bad story. She could care less. She couldn't care less. So you heard like so he goes. So I go, do me a favor. Oh, so I give all my lovely clients the ability to communicate with me free. I don't charge them $2.99 after the thing.
Sure.
How did it happen? A couple more after that. Oh, I love you. You're cool. So I said, do me a favor and don't listen to Thought Spiral and don't ever contact me again. What a despicable response. You must be a truly nasty and mean person. Shame on you. Okay. So he comes back.
I love how fast you are with despicable. You are so so quick on the draw with despicable.
I need more words. Inexcusable, I think, is too far. So then he comes back with, which I thought was really good. He goes, he likes to use geesh. I've never had anybody like geesh.
Yeah.
Take a chill pill.
Ooh.
Okay. And then I go, the kind of person who, after knowing who I am and having used my services before.
And knowing I'm already on 3 kinds of chill pills.
Yeah, at least one. You actively try to affect my reputation. I mean, this is going too far. But he is basically going, I'm going to let the public know that I hated this, right? I mean, isn't that a little weird that you go, a guy you've enjoyed his work and go, 2 stars, you stink, and don't do it that way anymore. I won't use you, and I got to let Cameo know.
Right.
So I say, you're conducting, this is a good one. You actively try to affect my reputation by giving me 2 stars. You're conducting yourself like you're a monstrous asshole. Not bad.
Wait, you said, okay. I was just wanting to see who said that.
Yeah, it was me. He says, well, it wasn't very good. You spent 5 minutes trying to run out the clock. I didn't know you were going to go all Twitter on me. Geesh, sorry. I'm sure your rep is ruined for good now. Then I start yelling, I yell at him more, and now he's not, and I take away his $2.99 privilege. I take away his free privileges. Now I'm just able to go after him over and over. And then, and he says, he goes, this is who I, so I said, I do these things, this is who I am while I'm doing it. He goes, this is who I am. Absolutely. You've made that very clear. Good day to you. Okay, so here's my manifesto. You ready? This is the last thing I said to him. You paid $3 just to leave the last word, which he did. So I was making fun of him now. He's coming back to say good day to you, right? So I go, you paid $3 to have the last word. I'm happy to block you. I don't want your money. I hope you ask for a refund. You're not my employer. I've looked back at your previous requests.
By the way,
why are you so rude to people you don't know? You instruct me not to be sappy like you're hiring a clown to entertain at a party. You're paying practically nothing for someone to make you a video and then criticizing the effort. Maybe you think you're being funny. You're not. Your social behavior.
Anything but.
Inexcusable. Good day to you. I use his own words in response. And then after that, he starts leaving. How's he leaving more than one review? He goes back to an old thing that what he liked before, and he comes back. This guy's terrible. 1 star. He's mean. He says terrible things. So then I wrote to Cameo, and they removed his comments from the website.
Wow.
Which I think is proper. You're not going to please include. You're not going to include this. You are.
No, of course I'm going to include this.
Okay.
It's hilarious to me. The opera you just had over a Cameo.
What are you looking at over there? Susan. The wife's looking at me like, who am I turning into? Dennis Miller? I never opened up. Hold on. I'm going to open up today so we have light in here. Hold on.
No, it's light enough. Plenty of light. Come back. Oh, God.
That's nicer, isn't it?
Literally,
Nicer, isn't it?
literally nothing changed at all in my picture. like it did not change at all.
Well, the experience is more for me. So how are you doing? What was your? You don't even go through these things because you're well-adjusted. Well, I'm not even going to talk about this. I'm not going to put myself down in this one because I don't really. I'm actually proud of what I've done. I'm proud of who I am because I think in my life I haven't told people when they unnecessarily hurt your feelings and they think you're going to get away with it because they think you're an employee.
Yeah.
So
but I will say that you referred to them as your clients.
Does that mean that I have certain obligations and fiduciary responsibilities?
I'm saying you're saying that you are their employee.
Oh, you're right. You know what it is? I don't mind working for you wonderful people out there.
This is why, it's hard to...
This is why you don't do cameos?
Well, there's a lot of reasons I don't do cameos. Number one among them would be the lack of orders for them.
I just topped $20,000 lifetime.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
That's fantastic.
And why should I declare it? I mean, how would they find out about it?
Is that net?
Oh, that's just...
that's gross.
Yes, because they pay Bruce on separately.
Okay.
Yes, that's cash in my pocket. I was making a joke.
Hello, IRS. Listening?
No, I was making a joke, but I am declare. I declare every dollar, not because I'm honest, because I'm horribly afraid of getting arrested.
That's as good a reason as any, I say, to follow the law.
10 years ago, this used to be me. $35 improv, $14 Borders, $10 gift certificate Borders, $25 USC frat house.
And then your accountant would just take standard deductions.
No, I've applied for one more pension. I applied for SAG.
That's nice.
So I have one more down. AFTRA.
Is there a separate AFTRA pension still?
Yeah.
Really?
Why am I saying this? You know, I almost, this just is wrong. I don't want to be the guy who is thrilled about these things, but who else can I tell besides you?
No, I'm happy to hear.
Is it? You know, I've been thinking more and more about
all of this. This is all my future, so I know.
Absolutely.
Every time I learned another little beat of how it all goes.
I just came up with this expression yesterday. Do you like this? A lender, never a lender, nor a borrower be. I don't know why these rules happen. Was that Ben Franklin or something?
I don't know who it was. It sounds.
Does it sound
certainly
familiar?
Sounds Poor Richard-ish. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, but.
I've been thinking more and more about doggies since our conversation last week. And by the way, is there I want any updates like, oh, we found out that Cody remembered something and now everything's better, or it hasn't happened as much, or we've changed the sleeping situation so it's not happening at all.
Well, we had maybe one instance since, I don't think we had anything over the weekend.
And also I see you, I'm so brave. I see you, the courageousness that I see with you as you hold like a bull. You hold your blanket up. So what are you doing when you lift the blanket up?
That's just that's you can create a wall that way.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they can bite through the wall, but hopefully they won't.
Well, we don't press our bodies up against the wall. But that's not, I've also grabbed him. I've also
You have?
Yes.
Oh, to stop him.
Yeah. And then then kicked him outside the room.
How's he going to knock? What if he goes? Wah! I don't know. I'm not good.
He
at
might.
This.
No, he's tried, but it's slowly getting better, and we're trying to train him out of whatever we can.
And now, how many dogs have you had total?
Cody is number 4. And
did you the first dog whose name was not George
was Larry?
Frank, Larry,
yes.
Which was also the name of Letterman's dog, I believe.
I don't think it was.
Oh, okay.
I think that was Chuck or something like that.
So, did he ever have any? Was he completely almost good-natured? Would you say?
No. He took a long time. He was a wild little animal when we got him.
Oh my God!
and remained a wild little animal through most of his puppy time.
How old was he?
He was
How
like
old was
4
when you got
months
him?
when we got him as a stray from the shelter.
And you don't know, never know what happened to him,
he
right?
had mange and kennel cough, and he was in bad shape. So we had to like give him sulfur baths for the first couple of weeks and all this crap.
Oh,
it was
no.
not fun. But no, it took a long time for him. I mean, he was like, we also lived across the street from a park. So that caused problems because he wanted to be at the park. So he would, at the time we lived across the street. And so he would bolt to the park and we'd be chasing him around and, but he was a wild little critter, but he was also like extremely funny and like eye-rollingly smart.
That's so great.
So when he got to be an older dog, he was awesome. He was just great.
How old did he live till?
He lived to about 13, I think.
Wow. And then who came after that?
And Clyde came shortly on his heels. And then Lucky came about a year after Clyde.
All the dogs have been stray dogs, right?
They've been either Larry and Clyde were shelter, and Lucky and Cody came to us from people who were having to get rid of them.
My fourth Lhasa Apso was a stray.
Yeah.
The first three I paid the big Lhasa Apso money. I think it's $40,000 a dog.
It seems high.
I don't even know what it is. It's a small dog, right? Lhasa Apso.
I think they're actually the bigger dogs.
Big dogs. You know what the dogs I always feel bad for, and I always hope they have a nice home, are the greyhounds. Because I don't think that's a good life, greyhound running. It's not as glamorous as horse racing, I don't believe.
I believe our online friend Gail Simone has a couple of greyhounds.
Oh, and then are they almost always from, well, I guess you can get them new.
I think you can get fresh ones. I don't think they're all rescues from trash.
Sometimes my inability to put together concepts, it makes me almost have the vapors.
But I think there's a lot of greyhound rescue situations.
Yeah. They're cute dogs.
They are kind of. I mean, they're very.
Are they kind of ugly? Don't say that because Gail Simone.
No dogs are ugly in my book.
That is true.
But
that is true.
I find them more interesting looking than cute.
Oh, I forgot. I was going to do a whole segment on this. Are you trembling with anticipation of a show that we both watched? Well, we didn't both love. He's back. He's 83. He's back.
Is this Frasier you're talking about?
Frasier is back. Is he back on NBC? No, he's back on CBS.
No, he's back on Paramount Plus.
Okay, and that used. Okay,
but if the strike goes on, he'll be on CBS.
I think they said it was going straight to CBS. And you see him; he's about 80s, and the thing is Niles on it. That's all I want to care about.
I would assume so. Why would he say no?
How can you watch him now without thinking about his politics now?
I can watch a lot of people without thinking about their politics.
No, you have to. You wouldn't be able to watch a lot of the history of film. I like Aaron Rodgers.
This is something my father somehow trained into me that I don't have to.
Oh, you did say that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying, you were watching Hard Knocks and enjoying.
It's hard not to like Aaron Rodgers.
Enjoying Aaron Rodgers, despite the fact that you might actually disagree with him on some things.
Oh, but I think you're taking it too far now because I think if he was just anti-vax and it wasn't, you're just fucking with me.
I am, yes.
No, but I do want to make it clear that, like, I've even have friends and they're, a couple friend and they're, the wife doesn't believe in vaccinations, and it's like, but she's also not imposing her will on everybody.
Right. No, there is a line between having a belief and trying to convert others to that belief. And I'm against proselytizing in so many ways, especially when it's with evil propaganda. But
sadly, even against his own career.
But in terms of just like watching a football thing, he's fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, no, I was amazed. Like, he's a funny guy. I always think he's funnier than Joe Rogan. Why is he like Joe Rogan? Again, why is he attracted to Joe Rogan? Because they're bros?
I can't get into the mind of either of them.
Is he going to? But here's like, for example, I used to love Brett Favre. Oh my God, and he came to the Jets, loved him again.
Right.
You can't love him, and I'm not talking about. He's not. You can't compare him to Aaron Rodgers because he didn't take money out of the house. But he didn't take money out of the. Aaron Rodgers did not take money out of the mouths of poor children.
Right.
In his state.
Right. No, nor show his dick and things like that apparently happened along Brett Favre's way.
He's like Louis C.K.?
Well, he was sending dick pics, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think he was. But, okay, see, back when it first started happening, it was just charming. Like, he apologized. No, it was like, okay, this was kind of charming. When Joe Namath was drunk and coming onto the person and he apologized later, that you could go.
That wasn't charming, but it was funny.
It was funny and he apologized.
I think you have to. He was so clearly hammered that you weren't even watching like a workplace incident. You were watching something happening in a bar at a football game.
And she says, "What do you think their chances are?" I don't know.
I want to kiss you.
Beautiful. You're beautiful. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
I'm brawling you, motherfuckers. He didn't do that, but
you're beautiful. But even she was like, it's hard to dislike Joe Namath unless was a Jekyll and Hyde like Les Moonves. Les Moonves couldn't have been more. No, Les Moonves did not seem like a nice guy, and he was an awful person. He didn't have like a thing, and you weren't like, I love Les Moonves. I would never want to think of anything bad about him.
Yeah, no, he was true to his vibe.
It's almost like being true to your school.
That's right. The thing I noticed about the Hard Knocks, which I like basically as a series, it's what's sad is it gives you a stake in the team that you watch it about. So I'm watching the Jets yesterday, caring that they're horrible.
Did you see what I tweeted? Because I'm very proud of this. Of course, didn't get much of a response, but it's that when I root for somebody, I project my own shortcomings.
Yeah.
The Jets are afraid of confrontation. The Jets just can't accept that they're too old to be a lead actor on a sitcom.
And clearly, as your little cameo story says, you're afraid of confrontation. You're very afraid of confrontation.
No, the Jets are. The Jets are afraid to play smash mouth football. Not me. It's the Jets. No, but I do believe that I am changing. I really am changing because I don't think
that sounded like old Andy to me. It really did.
What's that? What do you mean?
The fight you had on Cameo.
Oh no, forget that one. I'm talking about my. I'm separating me. I'm compartmentalizing myself.
Okay.
That's. I don't care about that guy anymore. I don't care about me. I don't care about me with that guy anymore. Okay. But I'm trying to change how I root for the Jets, or how I root for everything. I've been watching the Mets games and enjoying them because it's like, why do I have to take the worst part of myself and project it out? There's no reason to. Of course, the Jets are going to not score.
Yeah.
Even though when they won the Super Bowl in '69, I told God I would never ask for anything again. So I don't think it's healthy to root the way I'm rooting. But do you think it's that most people, they can separate their "you suck"? I can't yell "you suck." I've never yelled "you suck" to my team at the game.
Nor have I.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I get mad when people do that. There are Met fans out there. They know they're not going to win the thing, but they're out there enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
So I just think I make things awful because I really do get into a black and white situation. Oh, now I'm not going to be able to watch the rest of the season now because there's no Aaron Rodgers. It's like, who knows what's going to happen?
All right.
Now, I know what you're saying is I'm living in a dream world, but I don't think that's true. The Jets are measurably better team on defense, like probably one of the best defenses.
I didn't see that last night. By my measurement, that wasn't true.
I think, what the problem is. I don't think they are. I don't know about that offensive coordinator guy who he was Aaron Rodgers' man, but I don't think they're really calling particularly interesting plays that could work with Zach Wilson's problems.
Well, they just spent months coming up with an offense for Aaron Rodgers to run. So they're sort of adjusting on the fly still, I imagine, and seeing what he can actually do in a game.
What are you your own Jekyll and Hyde?
Hey, I watched Hard Knocks. I'm part of this team now.
But you just said the Jets are horrible. The Jets are horrible.
They're horrible. They were awful yesterday.
So you're like Robert Salah. Robert Salah. You're going to read them the riot act today.
Yes.
You guys stink. You guys stink. Shut up, Rodgers.
No,
you're injured.
the problem with your impression is what I've learned from Hard Knocks is that professional football coaches use the word fuck for emphasis more than an open mic comic.
I don't even fucking
fucking love what I have in this fucking room today, people. We have some fucking professionals here. We're playing some fucking Jets football. Is that fucking right? That is fucking right.
I know. It's like using the word butter. It takes out any effectual.
Yeah, but you can tell it's just the insecurity of trying to be
on camera.
Trying to be an authority figure to a room full of 300-pound millionaires.
I don't think you can be. That wouldn't be my focus. I would come in like Phil Jackson with the phony baloney spirituality.
Yeah. I'm not saying that would be my style. I'm saying that's what I observe.
Yeah, but I look at this guy and I was like, I'm so excited about it because he seems like to be a better Jet coach. So, I have such a problem with good cop, bad cop in my life. I guess for some reason, I wish I could be always good cop, really, nice cop.
Yeah.
That never had to be. Like that book about Elon Musk, Walter Jacobson, but he doesn't say this. There's some argument
that's your black and white thinking. You can either be good cop or bad cop.
That's true. But it's like the idea that one of the people in Elon Musk's life, because he's supposed to be an absolute horrible, maybe the worst human being in the world when he explodes.
Yeah.
Right? And then, but one of his people goes, he does get things done.
He'll call you despicable, like boom, like that.
He gets things done.
Yeah.
I just.
That's
never crazy about that.
Yeah.
And neither was Walter Isaacson. He said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's, I'm just saying leave it, let the reader decide. But one of the people at Musk's place says, when he goes on those things where everyone is, you're fired and this is that, things happen.
Right.
But to me, it's like, why don't you just keep it tight all the time and not freak out?
Yeah. I mean, it just, I'm one of those behavior over results kind of people though, so so you and I will look at this and go, no, he's a bully. He's a big dick.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And it's not worth anything you accomplish if you're a horrible person, but not everyone sees it that way, clearly.
And I also don't think that judging what happens in the world then should make you decide what kind of person to be. Because then you go, if he crashes and burns a year from now, which I think he might, that won't justify his horrible behavior any more than him winning all these awards from his. It's just his behavior is bad,
right?
And he seemed to have a terrible father, or has a terrible father.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly explore the roots of his terrible behavior, but you still end up with someone who's a shithead,
Humiliated him, and that my father humiliated me, but he didn't do it on purpose, right? He wasn't saying.
Well, I don't know. You have to tell me.
Oh no, he was basically going, "Oh, these things are these concepts are very." I think my father. I'm trying to think. My father was actively trying to make me less happy. No,
I think he had a lack of empathy. I think
yes, that's a good way to put it.
Like I had men in my family. Fortunately, not my dad, but my grandpa and an uncle who were always like teasing and taking shots. Because they thought it was funny and they couldn't empathize with the fact that a child is sensitive.
Yeah,
So, but it made me dislike them intensely at times.
Right,
and avoid them.
Yes.
And they didn't have the empathy to even really notice that, I don't think, but my mom noticed or whatever, but it's like, and I noticed that with British people too, because of Allison and the people I've been around with her. It's like they, and you look at the tradition of boarding schools and such, they don't think children have feelings. They just,
right, that's right.
They are just like
they really believe in the spare
They are adults waiting
crap.
to happen. They are not children.
That's terrible. I mean, it just.
I'm sure it's very different now, but
yeah. But obviously, the saving grace of everything was that Oh, everybody loved him. I mean, my dad was a generally very nice guy and a very funny guy. You know, he wasn't like, it wasn't like he said, no, we're going to, it wasn't like Howard Stern's father, shut up, sit down, you know.
Right. No, but the banter can be mean. And as a kid, you can't delineate that from real talk, you know.
Imagine being Don Rickles' kid, and all of a sudden you're sitting around with the chicken up your ass and the organ's playing.
Read my book, I Am Not a Hockey Puck. You know?
I just got sad because I know he lost his son. So why do I have to remember things like that?
I don't know. I spent all weekend on the phone counseling Drew Barrymore through all this. So.
Now, I didn't know that you talked to her about. So what do you think now? David Simon comes out and goes, "Thank you, Drew, for coming back." And I mean, I guess that's the right thing to do. I mean, you don't want to just.
No, she did. I mean, she ultimately did the right thing. She did the right thing. Not doing a show. But it's like, you look at her and Mar, and we were talking about this some last week, but it's just like, it's such a cautionary tale in two different ways, you know. For her, it's like a cautionary tale of trying to get everybody to like you.
To love you. Yes.
And Mar is a cautionary tale of being someone who doesn't care if anybody likes them.
He doesn't care. But what is it that makes Mar go, I know I'm unlikable, I know I'm an asshole, but what, I'm in charge here, or look how great I've done, or how much money I've made?
I'm sure there's absolutely a part of him that goes, people will see it. I'm not about my writers. I'm the talent. You know?
I'm sure
even without the monologue and all that shit, he'll still go, I'm the star, I'm the attraction, you know. And you know, I guess at this point he probably is, but that's besides the point, because he's a fucking member of both unions he's scabbing against right now.
Right. And the other thing is that all of his most of the bits that they do, except for New Rules, because it has a structure that pretty much works, but most of the bits they do suck. He laughs. If he does a desk piece, he's laughing. He's selling it out himself. And I think he picks the worst jokes because he's the one who's going to pick the jokes.
Who knows if he's picking?
Who cares, right?
I don't, I don't think any host picks the worst jokes in their mind.
No.
I mean, his taste is terrible, but perhaps.
His taste is terrible, was I meant. Not that he picks the worst jokes in terms of objectively they're terrible because he has terrible taste.
Yeah.
You know, he's got like I think he thinks he's like, he would have been like Playboy After Dark. I think that's what the show he wanted to host or something. I think so too. Yes. Have you been to the Grotto? I've never been to the Grotto. No. Have you been to the home? The Playboy Mansion? No. I thought you had a story about that. No? No. But see, that would have been never something I would have asked. And who would you have asked? Gee, I'd love to go over the Hugh Hefner's place. Can you think Bill Maher can get us? I mean, it just sounds like out of what we wanted to do. I've known a couple of people who've been in that seedy part of the Hollywood world, but I would never have asked to hang out with them for a night. You mean like going over to Jay Leno's to watch porn? We didn't go to watch porn. It just happened to flash. It was clearly his default channel. But that was I'm sorry, but that was still a huge fucking thrill when I was 20 years old to be taken to Leno's house by Cesaro. Oh, how would it not be? I would have been like going, hey, Jay, I'll bring you my own porno collection. Jay. Can you believe all these people he's been around and he's known, and he's not interacted, I think, with more than one or two people in his entire life in a meaningful way, right? It might be. Mavis, maybe. And his shop guy. Hey, Jimmy, what you thought? I think I need more gasoline in my head. Poor boy. I just joke about these things. Okay, I'm sorry, but you know what? If I talk about Leno for too long, I start to, it's like almost a reflex of, I remember the festival saying, can you go after Leno less next year? Boy, do I, after not being at that... Some people have muscle memory, you have grudge memory. Well, I got to tell you, boy, not doing that speech this last year, and oh, God, I've been really grieving not being there, and missing the hours that we put into it. Did you see anything about the person who did do the speech? No. Wow. I spoke to Zoe about it, and Zoe said, well, she said, it was very good, and she did her thing. It sounded like it would have only worked, and it may not have even worked if Robin had done it. Yeah. Because it was like people a funny idea you came up with. You were the brand, as I said. Right. But even if, so it's like, I think it's more like, I look at people's schedules there are people going out like David Cross goes out a lot now. I guess am I the only person who has not moved on from the pandemic?
I think so, largely. Because people, because not everyone can go to their Social Security and pension. Some people have to make a living and have overhead. So,
that's a bad name for a tour, right?
But,
Social Security pension tour.
Beat My Pension. The Beat My Pension tour.
I just feel like that's what I would go to every time on stage now.
That's
you know what? I don't need this. You cannot hurt me anymore with your comment cards.
But no, I mean the other thing is there's a lot of fucking money out there to be made touring for there are more people filling big rooms right now than ever.
Oh, so you think it's a good time to be?
Yeah, there's legit
live
money,
shows,
especially as a single act. It's just like there's no overhead for the show, and there's money to be made. You can sell tickets because you have contact with your fans, presumably.
Right. I don't feel good. I'll get out there, but I'm looking forward. My dream.
I'm not saying you can make money out there, but I'm saying
I knew that you meant that. In fact, I knew I was being presumptuous. For a second, I thought you meant me, but it never meant me in that case.
I
right?
really didn't, and I don't mean that as a slam, but it's not like you're like actively trying to cultivate your career as
you have fans. It seemed like you have fans,
no,
Andy. You have fans, and they're.
I was not saying you're leaving money on the table.
I think I am leaving money on the table, but not
you're
that
leaving
much.
Some, but I'm just saying you weren't playing those rooms before the pandemic.
No. And I can once again want to say, with a marvelous night of a moon dance, this pandemic has been for my life. Boom.
See, you can still do Van Morrison jokes, and he's an asshole.
Yeah, I do realize ultimately you have to separate. Like, if I listen to my favorite Van Morrison stuff, within a couple of seconds, I'm not thinking about him anymore. Thinking about his personality.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to separate the idiot from the artist. But then you also think, like, okay, I see this
now there's a tour name for you.
What's that?
Separate the idiot from the artist.
You know that guy Richard Karn? I used to be a Home Improvement, and he was like the Home Improvement guy.
Yeah.
Is his name Richard Karns or something?
I believe so.
So, in the Home Improvement show, you never watched it? I know the concept of it.
Yeah, I've seen 5 episodes out of a million.
So Tim has Tool Time, right? He has that show Tool Time, and with that guy's in it. And that guy, I thought was a actual builder before the show, but I think he wasn't. I think he just looked like a builder.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
then
now
he capitalized on his character to become a Home Improvement icon.
And now what he's saying is, the other day, he goes, "Hi, I'm Rich. I know all about home improvements, but I still am a member of homeowners buy a home and get that stupid."
Say SAG.
No, he has that homeowners insurance thing that I had, because when you sell your house, you have it for the first year, but it's like the worst. It's like what's that thing for cars?
A warranty.
No. That Ice-T sells.
Yeah, an extended warranty, essentially.
Right. That's what it is, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
I lost my space, and I think sometimes
Richard
God's
Karn
saying,
doing home insurance.
Right. Yeah. No. So my point was, he's saying in the thing, I know I can do anything with my hands, but this one I had to let go of.
Yeah.
I don't want to play around with fixing my washing machine when I can go through this horrible third-party situation.
Right.
That's what I object to.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Sales.
I don't object to anything. I don't object to anything. My thing is, I even found we found a funny version of the State Farm guy. He has one funny version. I don't mind those. I think he's funny, but the commercials I don't like that much, because there was one funny version of
Jake from State Farm we're talking about?
Jake from State Farm has one. There's one funny. It's slightly amusing.
Oh, okay.
But you can tell that Jake has range.
Sure.
Mommy, please don't come in the middle of the night, Mommy. You're so moody. All right, that was good. Josh, you should have sympathy for what I'm going through.
I do.
You ever think of that?
I think if anything, I have sympathy.
Here's what I don't want in the home. Please, no pranks. It's just not. You're not George Clooney, okay? Don't prank me in the home.
I can't follow it up with the suitcase full of $1 million like he does.
There's not one person who's going to go, there's so many people going, if he wasn't George Clooney, I'd fucking wring his neck.
Yes.
I wring his goddamn neck. What's funny about
that despicable piece of I fucking hate his
inexcusable,
gorgeous, goddamn generous, godlike appearance.
Wife is amazingly wonderful asshole. No. We have to like George Clooney. George Clooney, you can't help but like him because he is not an unlikable guy.
He's not.
And he's on the right side of issues.
Well, you just got to believe that occasionally someone slips through. Like a George Clooney, who's like, he hasn't been completely destroyed by all this as a human being. We could be totally wrong. He could just be a master of PR.
No, but there are many nights. Like, they went after, like, Martin these idiots went after Martin Short with Slate or something. Like, right. Some article about Martin Short.
Why are we still putting up with Martin Short or some shit like that?
It's like, talk about, you must really have no sense of humor if you're going after him because he's perennially funny. But
that's the thing now, though, is that's a perfect web article.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Is it's like, you have to take a position and be so fucking arch about it, and then you have to then have the afterlife of the article because you've been so fucking arch about it, because everyone now has to speak out against you, and that's a successful web article,
Yeah, even though it's
just
insidious.
Yeah, even though it's
wrong.
Someone with bad taste.
It's like wondering. It's like something's hilarious, and then you start wondering.
Although I do have to say, I went on a Jiminy Glick jag on YouTube.
Right.
And it was like funny. And I went, nope, that's enough. It was really it's enough now.
Well, he's not 100%.
No, but he's very, very
can be
funny.
Broad.
Man. He's terribly funny, man.
But just to come out with that thing like, maybe we were just liking him because we thought that we should like somebody, and then he filled that role for us.
Right.
Criticism isn't easy, Josh.
It's not. And think pieces by the thoughtless fill the world.
think pieces from the thoughtless. Everybody. Well, you always have to be worried. Well, here's the thing: you always have to be worried if someone's in a car rant. Because I don't usually go to the video parts on X.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are building little video empires from their car. It really is a lot. It's just, you go, man, is your world that noisy? That's the only place you can go?
Well, because I think people think carpool karaoke was big. Maybe that's what the thing is.
I don't think it is. I think it is literally, my kids are in the fucking house and they're running around. And this is the only goddamn place I can get some quiet.
Which I think is somewhat true in a way.
I've heard of people, like I have friends who have said like their dad used to just go sit in the car.
Especially if he smoked, but not really. But Jimmy, like the Jimmy Dore, I watched some of these Jimmy Dore clips, and they do make me laugh because he's so terrible, and he's like saying things like, yeah, okay, what is he saying recently? Yeah, right. I can't even think about it. When Cornel West. He's going after Cornel West. He was his only ally for years. Now Cornel West is slightly disagreeing with him, and he's going after the Cornel West now.
All right.
It's just, I don't think it's going to end well for him unless he thinks having a terrible reputation is a good thing, as long as they write about you.
Are you talking about Jimmy?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, no, Jimmy. It's all about clicks.
He's all about clicks.
It's all about clicks, and as long as he's happy as long as he's getting them. Clearly, right.
But it's got to crash and burn. Crash and burn is it
seems like the kind of thing that isn't built on a strong foundation.
Well, in a certain way, it's already over in terms of it's already over. What was bad is when these guys along with their grifting, are able to spread disinformation on their way and all this kind of, and then they're out.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess
what Jimmy seems to have done so far successfully is avoid massive lawsuits, which it seems like the big danger for someone like that.
Yeah, like if you, especially if you like, because he was even involved in the first couple of Seth Rich. What's the deal with the Seth Rich thing?
Yeah.
And Pelosi, he was involved with the smearing of Pelosi too. What's the positive? Why do you think that Jimmy? And I'm saying this is just that I know of my friends and who have podcasts and stuff like that. He's the one who really does makes people very angry.
Yeah.
Like he's particularly egregious.
I think that's part of the algorithmic approach.
Yes.
I really do think that, just because I've had that conversation with him way back when he was transitioning into this world of his and talking about all the algorithms he got from Cenk Uygur and,
From who?
From Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I said his name right, but I think I did.
Oh, I think you did. I call him Shanktimonious, but
you're like you and Trump.
No, I did it before Trump did it.
Oh, well, he stole it from you, clearly.
No, I called him Shanktimonious before Trump called.
I'm saying you have the same instincts.
I accept.
I'm not saying you stole it from him.
No. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, because the first time when he slid into my DMs, there's a very, very funny commercial with the people who are growing into their parents.
Yeah.
And he says, what does this slide into DMs mean? Sounds pretty fun. They're still making more of them, and they're still funny.
Sometimes.
Not all. I mean, they've had a nice run.
It has been. Good. God bless that guy for having that nice a run.
Do I get any money for identifying the better commercials?
No, because you have all the penalties you get for the bad ones. It all evens out.
Well, I was told, Susan told me that I cannot ever again, and she's absolutely right about this, start to complain about Balance of Nature, because it just drives her, because I complain about it every time it comes on. So now I've made that promise, and I hope I keep it, because it really is an annoying part of me.
If I lived with you, it would be unbearable, I'm sure.
Because it comes on, I go, listen, look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at this idiot. And some of them are just funny, with the woman who likes to paint.
Yeah.
I like color. And I couldn't see
like
color.
Vegetables. Did you see Trump's interview yesterday?
No, with Kara Welker?
Kristen Welker.
What's your name?
Kristen Welker.
No, who's Kara Welker?
No,
so how was it?
Yeah, she's Kristen's aunt. It was such a great reminder of just besides the evil, besides the narcissism, just what a fucking dumb motherfucker he is too. You know?
Was she able to? I think they edited it.
She did okay, but it's just like this is how bad he is. I found myself being offended on behalf of pro-life people. Because he's just like, I hear, 15 weeks seems to be a number that people are starting to really get around. You'll see, there's going to be a number that everyone's happy, and I'll get them on the same number, and then there'll be, after 52 years, we'll have peace on this issue. And it's just like, what, and it's the same thing with like fucking Russia and Ukraine. 24 hours, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like such a clear reminder that there's never a principle behind anything,
Right.
There's never ever a principle that is guiding his behavior or his thought process.
Yeah, because he's like, Putin's good. Putin, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's like, I think people are. It's the worst thing in a way. It is the worst thing that's ever happened to this country, because it's just a constant. The fact that he's constantly there, it just constantly reminds people that we're susceptible to racist hack.
Yeah, but it's also a reminder that along with him comes however many millions of people, and in some ways that's a valuable reminder, I think, too. But
it is a valuable reminder, because we think, as progressive people, we think like, well, I don't like them, but, you know, I mean, I think progressive people in general are more accepting of people's extremes sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, as a progressive thing.
Yes. Empathy.
You know?
Empathy is a guiding principle, presumably at its best.
But to me, it's like sometimes I go, okay, no, we're at war with these. We are clearly
at war with these people. Or as the Jews call it, Rachmanis.
What does that mean?
An understanding of people's hardships, where they're coming from. Empathy. It means empathy, essentially.
Right. So you don't want to let that go too far in terms of you don't want to surrender to these people.
No, I mean as much as I sort of cherish my intellectual honesty, I find myself even listening to shows sometimes going, you don't have to be so moderate about seeing the whole playing field always. You know,
I know
but it's my instinct though is the intellectually honest route. You know, that is my instinct is to go. Of course, these people are bastards, but this point and this point has some validity. You know, and I don't know what value that has anymore, but it's but I find it pretty endemic to who I am of trying desperately to meet people where they are.
Right.
and sometimes it's just like it's total folly, you know.
It is total folly, but the effort is just, I think, part of being a stable person is that you learn to. I'm not talking about for myself, but people I've heard, they learn to place their anger in some. This is my whole goal with therapy, and the challenge is to place your anger in a proper context so that it doesn't destroy you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't process anger well. I just don't, you know, and so rather than, you know, but I also don't hold on to it that much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like, I try to, I mean, I avoid being angry at people as much for myself as for them.
Absolutely. And what you're saying is absolutely right, because the point is that I think the anger is never, I'm not ever proud of the anger. The only time I was proud of is that sometimes in my family, the only way you could ever make your point was to be angry, or else you were going to be rolled over completely. But it's still not something that you want to be. You want to be kind of like centered in your own body, that you don't have to worry that everything that's happening that you don't agree with is going to destroy you.
Right.
So you can have a certain kind of good trouble type thing, like John Lewis.
Yeah. Well, and it's like there was an example yesterday in our house, really, where it's just like I have to get it out. You know, I can be diplomatic about my anger, certainly, but like I had an issue with my kid yesterday, and I brought it up to him, and we had the conversation, and it was fine. You know. But then I was talking to Allison afterwards, and she was like, "Aren't you upset about blah blah blah?" I'm like, "No, because I had the conversation." You know,
right? You know,
had I not had the conversation, that's where it would have been me speech writing in my head over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Well, you engaging if you engage it and confront it.
But like I don't, you know, unlike Allison, and it seems like you too. Sometimes I don't zapruder the conversation afterwards.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
my zaprudering happens if I don't say it. I just keep writing the speech until you know.
Well, I think that, I feel like therapy has been so amazing for me. So I feel like I'm, you're always recovering from your anger, and, you know, just to know that all these old grudges and all these types of things, you know, it's like, you know, when you're getting that upset about something, you just know it's hurting you. It's the original grief that you're going after, or whatever.
Yes, as one of the few good things Oprah ever said that stuck with me.
People show you who they are?
No, the swallowing resentment is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know?
Well, that is really excellent. It is totally excellent. It sums it up well. Well, once again... No, but I think that absolutely when you first met me, or when we first met each other, you know, it's a very tricky thing, because if you want to go back and regret your past or think you were an asshole, then that's not a good way to go. You just want to be able to have if you were brought up in a family where you're wrong, if you ever were angry, you're a bad person if you ever showed emotion, you have to get to the point where you accept yourself, that a good person sometimes does things that aren't good. You can't be perfect all the time.
Yes.
And I think that's what therapy has done for me.
Well, and I think I was talking about this actually with John Cleese last week. We were talking about the difference between guilt and shame. And my assessment is guilt is I did something bad. Shame is I'm a bad person.
Right.
Guilt can lead to shame, but it doesn't flow the other way generally.
Yeah. Absolutely. And guilt and conscience, and they're all kind of wrapped up sometimes. And I say the biggest problem in my life is not problem in my life. Traditionally, the biggest problem in my life is not being able to separate whatever perceived hurt I have, be able to just separate that from reality and not act on it. Right. And of course, if I make that the big thing, then you're going to get mad at yourself every time you do act on it. But generally, it's in the moments where the anger comes and I feel like I'm trapped, like you have to do something. If you don't have to do something.
All right.
You generally don't, But then striving for perfectionism is also, well, that's just part of it. That's what part of what OCD people do.
Right.
Because they're constantly going over it and over it and over it.
Well, in the words of your therapist, I'm afraid we're out of time.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Now we're gonna take a break, but it won't be long. We'll be right back at the end of this song. Don't worry, baby, it could be worse. There isn't even a second verse. Just a few more seconds to go. We'll get back to the quote-unquote show. It's the spiral, a little more thought spiral.
Boom, 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 boom.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, except for I lost something. Oh well. Why do you think that's funny? I heard you whisper already.
It's a very good question. I didn't think you'd hear me whispering, so I was practicing, and then you heard it.
Yeah.
I really did prevent the bit from being a... Do you see that Jerry Lewis interview? I'm watching a lot of biographies now. So there's a Jerry Lewis thing where he's talking about how brilliant, and it's really all about how much they love him in France. And then they have Jean-Luc Godard talking about how great he is.
Yeah.
And then they have Jerry with that Jerry. Yes. Well, in about 12 days, let me tell you what I did. I got 4,000 cameras to the Warner. I don't know what he worked for, but he just is like, I got, yeah, exactly. Because let me tell you something about this business. If they don't know you have a plan, you're not going to be able to implement that plan. They got to know you've got the goods. I wrote that script, 170-page script in 5 days. I think it was the Bellboy or something.
Yeah.
And they have a scene with Jerry's toy, his assist, his video assist, that he supposedly invented already. I had to do it. Do I trust anybody else to go out there and see what those actors are doing? Meanwhile, you look at the thing. He certainly isn't going to, not judging anything, but that you can see the two people. And it's just really, really great. If you like that kind of thing.
I do.
I didn't think it would be good even. I don't even know what it's on.
Yeah. I don't even know what you're on. Am I right?
No, I'm not. But he's like, there's this part of Jerry Lewis where he's like a handsome, he's like a handsome guy. I think it's around the, what's the movie where he's King of Comedy Time? King of Comedy Time. And, they go, they want to know, they were asking me what, all of a sudden and part of this is probably true, that they probably didn't think he could act, which was stupid. Why wouldn't they think he could act? In other words, he's like, they seem so surprised because I did something straight or something like that.
Well, I mean, I think that was more the critical response. It wasn't Scorsese being surprised,
Right. No. It wasn't Scorsese, but it was like the critics. He's like, can you, and he was like angry about it. What do you think? I do it. I can do this. I can do that.
Yeah, but he had never had, as far as I know, played a straight role before that.
Because what's the point, Josh? He's investigating the art of humor itself. He doesn't have time for the small bullshit of interesting story that's not about him falling into a bucket of soup. He's just, and I admired him when I watched it. That's the thing that's amazing about it. You go, oh, it's pretty good.
Well, he got a lot of shit done. He really did, but he's still just such an asshole.
He's such an asshole. I also love when he talks about, it's like Dean and I.
It's mitigated by the fact that I don't actually find him funny.
He's not funny.
I understand that people found him funny, and I don't want to take that away from anybody. People find the Three Stooges very funny too. I never did.
He's probably better than the Three Stooges.
Probably so. And I'm not saying I've never laughed at Jerry Lewis, but in general, I find his shtick instantly tiresome.
Well, then you'll love when he says, he's some kind of thing in the movie. He's like, that reminds me of Dean and I. There were no better, closer friends in this goddamn world. It's because he's talking to a film class, too, at one point.
Yeah.
Come on. Dean was more me than I was me. It's like he lived in my heart, Dean. Dean hated him at some point.
That's the way I found making Dean about me.
And Dean really hated him at some point.
Oh, God, yeah, for sure.
But I don't even believe the early thing was that great.
I do.
Oh, yeah, they were really, they were having fun.
I mean, the thing is that they were both middling performers at the time, so that the sum of the parts was greater,
It really was.
The whole was greater than the sum of the parts in their case. So I'm sure they did love each other and loved the magic that happened with them, because it elevated both of them like a long way.
But what you're saying, I didn't even realize, is like Dean Martin, you wouldn't have bought all of his albums, right? But you would have. And you would never have seen how charming he was and how hilarious he was unless that thing had happened.
Right.
So, I never thought about it that way. Like, what you call a butcher meatball, dinga domba was not the best stuff he did. It was okay, though.
I think he was a good lounge act,
Is it Volare? Yeah, he was a good lounge.
He didn't do Volare, no. He did.
And why am I saying that? Because I'm mixing up.
That's Amore.
I'm mixing up Lou Canova with him.
Ah.
You know who Lou Canova is?
He did Volare.
And you know what I'm talking about?
Just the Volare guy.
No. That's the one with what's that movie with Woody Allen? He almost gets killed, and he's running around with the helium. I told him to throw. I am the one who taught him to throw it back and forth like that.
Broadway Danny Rose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, it's a sad thing. In the home, this will be like, he remembered Broadway Danny Rose. Get the doctors.
They do a little game show at the home. What is he trying to say?
Well, Josh, I know that.
And when you win, they give you a cookie.
I know that I'm, for some reason, full of spit and vinegar, but I've learned a lot of things this morning.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you all of them and bore you with all the details.
Okay.
But my life has changed.
Wow.
And not just this morning, but my life has changed.
Yes.
In the last week, I got my SAG pension done. Not only did I get my SAG pension done, the letter from the SAG people, it's almost like I wrote the letter.
Yeah.
Dear pensioner, your application was perfecto. Perfect. Everything you said, we'll be doing this, you'll get your big this, back that. I was like, I thank therapy, I thank, I don't know what it is, but I'm getting things done now. And the other part of it is, I hope this lasts. I stopped watching the news.
Yeah.
I mean, like the news, like Ari Melber or any of those shows, because I realized not just Ari, they're all boring because they're just, the headline is Trump's going to go to prison.
All right.
Right? But then it's 15 minutes of everybody, and I like Nicole's my favorite.
Yeah.
But it's like 15 minutes of like people just wondering what's going to happen. Or worse than that, in the morning, it's Andrea Mitchell warning you about all the horrible things that's going to happen to Biden.
Yeah.
What is the point? It's not, I can't believe I ever found it interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, on election night, on the big things, I'll tune in, which is the way it should probably have been to begin with.
Well, I don't know. You're a comedian. There is some, there's some.
Well, here's the problem. I think that my, one of the things I'm learning is I don't have the heart. I don't argue well. I don't deal with these issues well when I let them get to me. So it's not like tonight.
You?
No, I don't know. I know you don't realize this. I would watch Andrea Mitchell and I would be like burning mad. I'd watch Chris Mathis and I was burning mad. The truth is, I should have shut it off back then. I understand that. But the things that I was upset about, they weren't unreal things. I really do think Andrea Mitchell helped defeat Hillary Clinton. I really do think that all this, but it drives you fucking crazy. What's the point of watching?
I don't watch the people who infuriate me. Like yesterday. That's right. Yesterday, I turned off the congressional hearings because I just get raging.
I couldn't stand that.
Very intellectually dishonest. Very intellectually dishonest.
You're absolutely right. So this morning, here's the thing. I'm getting up earlier. So this morning I get up and Andrea Mitchell or somebody, I say, what am I doing? I can't even look at it. I find Diner. I watch Diner for the 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th or 10th time.
And now you're in a good mood.
It's like Diner might be one of those movies I have seen too many times for me.
Right.
Right. But it's still so great. So great. So many things I forgot about it. When you're sitting there and Steve Guttenberg is killing you, if Steve Guttenberg is killing you,
right.
Here's my theory.
You are receptive.
There's a guy in that movie. He's the bad guy in Diner. Uh-huh. He's trying to get the money from Mickey Rourke because he owes money.
Right.
Mickey Rourke owes $20,000. I think that guy looks, and I said, who's that guy? I think he's the same guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High who holds up the store at the end, Daniel Stern. And there's some of the same people in both movies.
Yeah.
That's the and what is his name?
The person who holds up the store at the end of Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Yes, and also and the person who punches Mickey Rourke in the stomach. Well, let's learn about this so I can go on Doug Benson's Who Likes Movies. Doug Benson, who likes me being the center of attention, talking about movies.
Who likes movies but hates people?
That's exactly right. Here's a guy, he does in a way entertain hundreds and thousands of people. He is like, people think he's like the funniest guy. Oh, he's so funny. He's the most miserable man. He's miserable, basically.
I don't have enough of a wide spectrum to deal with him. I had a bad day with him, and then I've had
Well played.
had a half dozen other things. Usually, when he's been asking me for something that out of the blue.
And then I saw something that I'm going to have Susan watch with me because I didn't even realize it's the Jim Marshall documentary.
Jim Marshall, the Vikings player.
That's the thing that you're going to be amazed when you realize it's Jim Marshall, the photographer.
Oh.
Who took and so
not the defensive player who ran the wrong way with a touchdown.
Did he run the wrong way?
Yeah,
but just once, right?
Just the once. It wasn't like
okay, I can't stop going that way.
No. I think he got enough of an earful about the one time.
That's worse than the yips.
Considering it happened before I was born, and I'm talking about it.
I mean, the yips are bad, but when you can't stop yourself from going into the other team's end zone, I think that's a real problem that you have to deal with. So look at me. Look at me. It's almost like obnoxious.
It's a little bit, but you know.
Well, because I'm not high.
Yeah.
I'm on coffee.
You're self-satisfied, which is,
it's not good. It's not good. It's
you don't wear it well, but it's probably better than.
I don't wear anything well. It's like, that's the thing. Me being happy, I think the reason why my family didn't want me to be happy or any group was like, oh, he's so obnoxious when he's happy. We have to at least keep him down. Oh boy! But I'm telling you something, Josh.
Yeah.
I have all these new but the thing about getting stuff done in my life, you can attest to when you not first met me, when we first started working together.
Yeah.
You can attest that I'm not the same person in terms of I'm late.
Yeah,
Please do it.
I can't quite go all the way that you've turned over a new leaf because these recent tasks have all resulted in monthly income. So there's like extra incentive to getting them done.
That's true. That's exactly.
If I fill out this form, they'll give me thousands of dollars every month.
Maybe I shouldn't be high-fiving around the house because I was able to apply for the money that was supposed to come to me. Right. You know what? They say I still could have it, even though it's months later.
So that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's keeping me from fully endorsing the new Andy.
Well, I thought the pension department was going to go, I can't believe this. We sent you this letter in March. You know what, buddy boy? We're going to start it back. We're going to backdate it to April, buddy boy.
Yeah.
What do you think, buddy? Hey, is there progress on the strike?
Apparently there's progress. They're talking for the third day in a row and making there's positive noises coming from just down the block here.
Now, if the positive noises come for the writers, then we're pretty much done, right? With the actors, I think.
Well, I mean, it's very likely that the guild contract will be used as the model for the SAG contract.
And we don't have the same issues with we have some of the same issues.
Some of the same issues for sure, yeah.
Right. But, an actor prepares.
But you don't, you aren't like going, you have to have 6 actors minimum for that role.
Right, yeah.
You don't do that, but we still both have AI issues. We still both have.
I just think it's a thing where I believe, and I'm always wrong, that there's a turnaround in this country right now. That people will understand the power of unions. Also, my prediction for the election.
Clear.
Anyway, how's it going? How's everything when you're in?
Everything's fine. We should, I think, just for intellectual honesty's sake, we should say that Bill Maher did not do his show.
Oh, thank you, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill Maher.
But it wasn't because of the approbation, or not approbation, the opposite of approbation of his peers.
Because things are happening, he said, right?
Yes, it was because.
Wow, that's
they're going
amazing.
To the talks, it can't be because of the, my peers.
No. Yeah, that's what he said.
Betrayal of my peers.
He also said for now. He goes, I'm not doing it for now.
Right.
I might be up your ass 2 weeks from now coming back on my stupid show.
And here I have now, and speaking of follow-ups from the first half of the show, this could change the whole tone or it could not. This is a multiple choice for you.
Is it the guy?
I got a letter from the guy.
Okay.
From your whatever
you want.
Your Cameo nemesis.
You make the call. I don't care.
No, you have there's 3 choices. 1, I send it to you. 2, I read it aloud. 3, I delete it.
3, you read it. I think 2 is good.
2, I read it aloud. Okay.
Yeah. And then we don't talk about it, maybe.
Huh?
Or we could talk about it.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, let's see it. This is good. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I think I opened up the can on Monday.
That's the only reason I bring it up.
Yeah, I think we have to complete the can.
I feel like you were fine about telling your side of the story.
Now let's hear his. There's 2 sides to every story.
Exactly. This is the Rashomon of irrational mon. All right, let's go.
Don't give it a read that favors his side, though. I guess you have to.
I will read it with the emphasis intended, but I won't oversell it.
Thank you.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I have to do some screen real estate things here.
Did you just say screen real estate? Because that's really obnoxious.
I'm an editor, and
Okay.
These sorts of things.
Did you come up with that one yourself?
I don't think I did. No.
Okay, because I like it.
You didn't seem to like it. You seem to really dislike it.
Well, that's because I don't want you to get too high an opinion of yourself.
All right. So here we go. Andy has the social skills to navigate conflict of a 2-year-old. He sent a 30-second...
Wait, there's no deer or anything?
No, I think this is just him going, hey, I'm going to send this because I don't have to spend $2.99 to send this one.
Did it come in the mail?
It came in the email, yeah.
Go ahead.
Andy has the social skills to navigate conflict of a 2-year-old. He sent a 30-second Cameo video to my wife that I was trying to cheer up, calling me a horrible person because he was peeing his pants mad about a 2-star rating. He did this while simultaneously calling calling my social behavior inexcusable, quote. Again, he sent an ugly video to my wife while also calling me a, quote, monstrous asshole. Unfucking believable. He got a 2-star review because his Cameo video sucked, by the way. Yeah, quote, I'm not funny. I'm a, quote, viciously unpleasant person. Quote, I'm just mad because I'm not funny. How dare I, etc. Well, Andy is a thin-skinned, vicious little turd with a lumpy face. I'll certainly honor his request that I not listen. Most of the podcast is his annoying cackle anyway.
Well, first of all, it's completely impossible to take him seriously. I did not send anything to his wife that was nasty. It was to him to show to his wife. Meanwhile, he's complaining that his wife. Meanwhile, he's been complaining that his wife doesn't even want them anymore. She's going to complain that she's getting them. Right? Uh-huh. So it's not. It's only if he said, "Honey, come on in here," and so I can show you what. Because I sent the original one that he hated, and then I redid it. It was to him, not to his wife. I never said anything that would even remotely imply that his wife had anything to do with this. It was him, and I think that means that this guy is really not my favorite person.
I think that's a two-way street now.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Do you have any other comments, or are you good?
Well, I will let me defend you on a couple points. I don't think you have a lumpy face.
Thank you. I thought I was very handsome.
Except for when you're on Dr. Katz, you had kind of a lumpy face, but that's different.
I've seen a picture of him, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
He looks like Frank Sinatra during his prime.
Oh, well.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe you have the social skills to navigate conflict of at least a kindergartner. Not a 2-year-old.
That's true, because you've been with me longer, and you can attest to the fact at no point do I go, "Why?"
Yeah.
I go more.
You've never actually shit your pants, for example, during a thing.
Oh, God, why do you have to? This is the greatest exchange of our show, and you have to lessen it. Well, thank you for doing that.
Sure. Well, thank you for allowing it. Shall we go to questions?
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other letter that we got last week from our friend Clarity Repa, who was just checking in to say she's fine. She's left Twitter because it's no place for a trans woman to be.
Oh, okay. And do you want to read that, or do you think you got the gist?
That's the basic gist of it.
Okay, thank you. And I hope that so she can't even ask questions. Maybe on Instagram, not even on Instagram.
A lot of people are leaving Twitter, and I admire that and condone it. So you can always get us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com. Or you can check on Thursday. I will always post the question on Instagram at Elvis Weinstein. Because I'm too lazy to set up a Thought Spiral account.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Oh, you did it again, Pickles. I don't know how you did it, but you did it again. Pickles says, don't you miss the days when Double Down was a cunning blackjack strategy and not every douchebag's first impulse to any feedback?
That's a hard week for you to be asking that question to Andy. I'm sorry. You doubled down on the Cameo thing.
Oh, that's right. But it took me this long to figure it out. This long. You know why? I'll tell you exactly why, Josh. I can't read and understand everything.
I understand.
Game 5 of the NBA Finals is about to tip off. So quite the time machine, babe. This is almost like sociopathic in a way.
June 12th, this was posted. But the double down. But I do agree with your double down point. That is it is a horrible. It is thing. The strategy of the day for assholes right now.
Right.
Which is all due to Trump, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I'm prejudiced. No, I'm really a racist. Throw it right back in your face.
QMock. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. QMock says, "Hi guys. A couple of years ago, I asked on Test Show 197, Netflix and other streamers seem to screw artists on residuals, but make shows that no one else could make. Overall, are they goodies or baddies? And Josh was neutral then. Thoughts now?" Well, obviously I'm less neutral now. I still have that sort of both sidesism of, the streamers did give a lot of people a voice on TV with that they wouldn't have necessarily gotten, but now we're seeing that that's at a cost that's unacceptable to the livings of writers. Because I wasn't really looking for TV work at the time, I wasn't quite as hip to the real scene of like these development rooms and stuff and those sorts of things that are going on. So understanding now that, you have to basically get 3 TV shows a year in order to be what's considered a middle class writer, as opposed to the one you used to be able to get, even though that was a long shot.
Right.
So, Netflix aside, just the whole streaming model, the subscription based model is proving not to be the key,
Yeah, that's the thing
they were the ones that decided to not base this on advertising. And now we're seeing that can't be sustained fully.
Wow. Yeah, that's insight is so good because they want to get all the benefits of the streaming.
Yes.
Right. And then, we're doing, can't we make the $3 and give you nothing? Now, here's the other thing I was going to say. Goodies and baddies. I also will have to say, without going too far into it again, is that, you have these guys that they made these Dave. And here's the thing about Dave Chappelle. I mean, I'm sorry I didn't hate Dave Chappelle more in my previous assaults on him. He's in this sorry, not sorry thing, criticizing the women who came out against Louis.
No, of course.
And he's doing bits like, I thought he was masturbating on the phone. Yeah, well, hang up, lady, or some bullshit like that. It's like, I think I was like one of the things like, you lock him in as hilarious early in your life and you just don't ever check back in on him.
Right.
And he's awful. I mean, it is really, really, really awful what he's doing. So the other part of it is that when I saw that Reed Hastings, I didn't even know who he was. When I saw that Reed Hastings, just defending Dave Chappelle, he's hilarious. And I was like, no, you guys just are fucking. It's not surprising that they're just want to make money, but they have no sense of. Even like old studio people, like Spotify is not like an old studio. We go like, maybe we should think, should we really give $300 million to the guy who says don't vax people? They don't have no sense of that. And I think that they pay for that. I mean, it makes it worse or something. They're baddies.
I mean, the thing is that the strike ends and we go back to work for them. Goodie or baddie doesn't really matter.
No.
Because it's still the entertainment industry and Netflix is just one part of it. But, it set up the model that broke everything. So, they have more industry blood on their hands. But,
the other thing is I just have a tendency to think artistically, like for the artist. Seriously, for the artist. I mean, do you really have to give a Dave Chappelle $300 million?
No, and or fucking Ellen DeGeneres $80 million or whatever they gave her for 2 specials or some shit.
It shows like a dinosaur understanding of what the business is. Even
it does. Historically, you don't get in trouble in Hollywood for giving big names money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because because it's seen as a risk abatement strategy in so many ways to have gotten the big star.
But when you're based on subscriber, when your thing is based on subscribers, what I don't understand
is just like the people that gave $100 million, like you couldn't have gotten them for 50. I think you could have. Yeah. It's like there wasn't another bidder.
And even Spotify, aside from the ethics of it, that they would bet that high without knowing anything about it. Like they're betting on Joe Rogan.
Oh, maybe someone should go back and check for the N-word,
It's so terrible. Okay. Dan Marsh, thank you very much. This is one of the best exchanges. And Dan Marsh says, hey, guys, what do you think it is that turns people who are at least ostensibly liberal when they're younger into miserable reactionaries when they get older? And what are the keys to preventing it? Excellent question, Dan Marsh. That really is an excellent question. I think people
you have to keep watching the news. That's the first thing.
I think like sometimes with the trans thing, I think it's almost like it goes from J.K. Rowling going, that's odd. I don't like people having trans those operations at a party or something. And now she's like, has to defend her stupid initial opinion. And now she has to, why am I giving her more credit? I'm giving her way, way more credit than, I'm giving her credit as somebody who got stuck in something they could have backed out of it, and they're better people than that. I don't think she's a better person than that necessarily.
But they doubled down, like Pickle said. Yeah, I think part of it is just simple greed, which is, when you're young, you have nothing, and therefore you have nothing to lose or protect. As you get older, you start to gain wealth, you start to, have family, you start to have things that you feel are, you have to protect. And therefore, other people become threats to you as opposed to just co-inhabitants,
Right.
And I'm not saying I feel that way, but I do feel like that's part of what happens is that when you're young, you don't have anything to lose, and therefore you're on that team.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, I'm very proud of our listeners today. Mozart, I think I'm on cocaine.
Mozart is what we go.
No, I talked to him off camera.
Oh, I apologize.
Mozart, I feel like I'm on cocaine. Mozart says, oh, I just realized it's takeoff on Mozart.
Really?
In fact, it's spelled exactly the way Mozart is spelled.
Wow.
I think I'm getting stupider. Right?
No comment.
Mozart says, here's something. Have I shared this before? My father was in a folk group during the early 60s folk boom. It was like the 80s comedy boom, but earlier and folk. They had 3 albums with Columbia Records. One of his bandmates had Bob Dylan crash at his pad once. This is fantastic. This is the kind of thing I want. This is like better than Brush with Greatness on the old Letterman show.
It is. Keep going.
Why am I going?
I don't know. Do you want me to read this? Because it's a multi-parter.
Oh, yes, please do.
All right. One of his bandmates had Bob Dylan crash at his pad once. According to my dad, his bandmate had one of the best record collections of all time, but when he woke up in the morning, Bob had absconded with the entire collection. To this day, my dad hates Dylan. When Scorsese made his doc on Dylan, Bob's penchant for stealing records was well covered. Of his exploits, Dylan said, "You have to understand, a lot of these records were really tough to get a hold of." I guess that's not really a question. Love the show. Thank you, Mozart. I think young Bob Dylan was not a scrupulous man, really. I mean, I think that, but just he had a very loose relationship with the truth. Yeah,
Absolutely. But I have a name droppy story that I think fits into this.
Yeah.
Amy Mann and Michael Penn, who are married, name drops. Michael Penn knew Dylan. Dylan came over to his house, and they were whatever. And then Dylan shows up a week later. Hey, goddamn! I can't even do old Dylan. I want that guitar. Do being Bob Dylan wanting his guitar, Michael Penn's guitar. I'd like to buy your guitar.
I want to buy your guitar.
Oh well. It's really like the only, it's I kind of use it all the time.
But I want to buy your guitar.
Okay, Mr. Dylan. So that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. But I want to buy your guitar. Thank you, Mr. Dylan. So Amy Mann insists that Dylan knew what he was doing. And I forgot what the guitar was even.
Yeah.
And Dylan knew what he was doing, or he had to. It's not even that he knew what he was doing. He's going to come back and get that fucking guitar.
Yeah. Like Amy Mann predicted that, and she felt like she saw that happening in advance of it happening.
Oh, no, because this is when Michael Penn was a kid.
Oh.
This was like Michael Penn was 21 or whatever like that. Yeah,
I don't understand what you're saying Amy Mann said then.
I just brought her into the story because they have both told me the story together. Yeah. So it was one of these things like, I know Amy Mann and Michael Penn. Do you know that? So here's the scenario. Amy Mann's there and Cher. It's like that.
Gotcha.
Thank you for pointing out the illogic of it.
All right. I was just trying to follow, really. Tweet Bahara says, Andy, I hate to go all blowhardy, but a spanner is what a Brits call a wrench. The phrase means a wrench in the machinery, like threw a monkey wrench into it. This is in reference to John Lennon and his second book.
Yeah, but they also they're saying, look, tweet. After you've gone through this whole thing with the eyes, with the glass eyes, and we've had such a wonderful thing where you sent me some cake because of my donation. I don't want to get in an argument with you. What they're saying is it became a colloquial expression. It's not just a wrench. It's also a guy who is bad with language. It's bad with language. I can't recall the thing I looked up. You'd have to question that. It's a joke that he was using because it was an English expression. That's the argument.
Right. But what Tweet's saying is that you misinterpreted what the English expression was. The English expression means to throw a wrench into the works.
I just quoted the name of the book. It's a Spaniard in the works. That's all I did.
Right.
I don't know what it was.
A spanner in the works means throwing a wrench into the works.
But it also is a reference. It's a double joke. It's a pun joke that John Lennon is making.
Well, he's saying a Spaniard in the works. That was John Lennon's pun on the phrase. They're saying also, apparently, and I don't recall this. Apparently, you took a stab at what into a spanner in the works meant, and you were incorrect in that assessment.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for going all the other way. Okay, I think this is a misunderstanding. I'm not a very good communicator to begin with. Hence the declining listening viewers. But the point is that it's just a double joke. It's either correct or it's not correct. Either in England they would call someone
I think everyone gets that. No,
they would call someone a spanner.
They did not call someone a spanner.
That's what they're saying.
They're saying they didn't call people a spanner. A spanner is a wrench.
Okay, well, I read this as
like a person can be a spanner in the works in the sense of that person is a wrench in the machinery.
Right, but they've added more characteristics to the person. Either that's wrong or it's not wrong. I didn't misread it. I may have read something that was untrue about it. Okay, but the point is, if you're writing a joke where part of the joke is that you're referencing like he's a real whatever it is that they call someone who's kind of a fuck up, maybe it goes past what you're calling throw a wrench into the machinery. They're calling just someone who's like a fuck up or does other things. Maybe there's an expansion of what that word meant. But that's the second joke that I think that he's doing. A Spaniard in the works. Beyond the fact that it is a monkey wrench thing, too. I think maybe, but you're saying that sounds like very weak,
over backwards
right?
To me, but whatever.
All right, let's go on. My apologies.
Okay.
My apologies. I'm sorry to everybody.
Stephen Chaotic Neutral says, so I just learned that ancient Egypt used a 10-day week and didn't have a day of rest. Unlike the subcontractors they hired after they fell behind schedule on the pyramids, wondering if the historical basis for Moses was just super effective union organizer.
It sounds good to me.
In some ways, that's true. Although to call them to say that they were hired as subcontractors
is it stretching the word of the meaning of hire?
Yes, I think he was maybe more of a slave rights activist.
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I don't really understand what the person is saying. A week was 10 days. I don't even understand that. That stretches 8 days a week, even to me.
Yes.
Well, how could that be? The length of it was 10 days, or they had 4 more days?
They had a different calendar.
Oh, and there were 3 more. How many more is that?
There was 3 more than the normal, than we'd call it, with the 7.
Well, how would they know? A week would go by. They go, it's been a week, and you want me to do the... I'm doing a joke about how... go to the next one, or she'll kill me. Go to the next one, or kill me.
Never go to dinner.
And Lot, who said to Saul, salt I have, this I don't have. I want to say one more thing about Paul Reiser, is he's very funny in the movie as a stand-up. In other words, he started.
We're back at Diner now, right?
Yeah, because it's like you have to realize. I came out of college. I saw Diner. I thought all the movies were going to be like that, and then I thought, what?
You thought all the movies were going to be like
would be funny, and so I was like, these movies are made for me. Woody Allen movies, Albert Brooks movies, this movie, and it's going to be. And then already Paul Reiser, now looking in retrospect, he was already not just a working comedian, he was also cast out of like 1,000 people to play this role in Diner. So it's like, what I'm saying is, when I got to L.A., I already thought my life was over because I didn't understand that these people who could be my same age doesn't mean that I'm a fucking failure because I didn't come out to L.A. in a sitcom or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know came out to be a musician, but I think I was like, I'm going to go out there and be a star. Oh, I could be in Diner. I could be in this. And then by the time I'm 25 and I'm horrible selling door to door cover band. And then it's like, I blew it. I'm like Charlton Heston. You blew it.
Oh, so you
goddamn blew it.
There was a window where funny Jew equaled gold mine. You're thinking.
Yeah, like I could have been Steve Gutenberg.
Nebuchadnezzar
right.
Funny Jew was the sweet spot for Hollywood that you missed.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Gutenberg, he looked like attractive in the movie. It looked like the whole movie. It looked like the whole world was made of white people. Well, I was thinking about that. It's like, it's hard to watch any movie now when you realize that you were so white privileged that you never thought, where are the black people? I didn't think of that in 1980.
I don't think you need to feel guilty for that necessarily.
No. Because I'm saying that's me. Right. Exactly. What is that called when you take the guilt of, so that you even take yourself out of the thing? You can't enjoy it anymore. Why? I know that there were no black people in the movies, but why couldn't Barry Levinson have made this, not just have the guy in the band play, but then years later, he made movies about black people, as opposed to Woody Allen, who I think never actually put black people in his movies.
Can't think of any.
Go on, because I think you're on a roll now with the questions. It's almost like you're a machine.
Internet user since 1974 says, Josh, I've enjoyed all your movie and TV critiques since TS001. Why, thank you. Your positive reactions are concise and affirming, and your negative ones contain cogent substantiation. That makes me feel good.
I like that.
Makes me sound intellectually honest, doesn't it? Can you describe a few filter points by which a piece could please or offend your sensibilities? Well, it's not that deliberate. But certainly when you start seeing cliches, it sets off alarms for me. Docs are different than scripted things for me because I feel like you can see the decision process in docs, unlike a script in some ways. Like you can go, I know exactly why they did that.
Right.
And therefore I go, I think they made a terrible choice in doing that. Or they made, it's, I like things that are surprising in some way. I like things that are fresh in some way. I like things that don't feel like they're just like AI regurgitation, which so many things feel like, You know
what it is, Josh? I realize is it's a very hard thing because now I'm almost enraged when I see them go back and forth with the timeline in a documentary.
Yeah.
Every one of them does it the same way. Like that's the only way. So it's like almost like then you feel like sometimes at one point you go, no, this is a good thing. And I was enjoying it in more than 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 documentaries.
Right. Yeah.
But now it seems like a gimmicky thing.
It really does. It just feels like so many doc makers use other docs as their template. It's like,
right. And
I haven't seen a new doc recently that doesn't have the interview subject before the interview starts.
Right.
Do you have, it's just like, it's so hacky now.
And also the reality, I think the reality shows, they don't make it worse because I watched some of them, but they just change everybody's thing of what they think They go, oh, no, it's great. It's great. It's real stuff. It's real life. It's the thing before the thing. Yeah. Right? Where when it starts to become formulaic, it's almost like you start to see it like, you want me to talk in here now? What? Right. Like that.
Yeah, when the subjects are crossing off beats on their own.
You're a funny man. You make me laugh. Josh Elvis Weinstein is the man who could. That's why I can't do those song parodies. I can't rhyme two lines.
Yeah. Internet user since 1974 also says, Andy, in Austin we have fledgling THC stores. So most carry one or two items. When I found one that carried High Chew candies, I bought them due to your enthusiasm. High Chew are excellent. Can you recommend any other items, beverage, oils, etc.? Thank you, Mr. Kindler. High Chew isn't inherently a weed candy, right?
No. High Chew is based on the candy High Chew.
But there are now THC.
The only one I would recommend would be the THC.
Is it HIGH Chew now?
Yes.
Okay.
But I can't go all the way on that because I have type 2 diabetes.
I have it.
Oh yeah.
He's got it.
So even when I'm in the pot shop, I'm limited. You know, like I like the punch bars. They're sugar free. It's fantastic. I'm a regular. I still can't.
And of course, don't forget your weed banaka in case you're not high enough to meet a new person. I stopped on that. Yes,
I stopped that. But, that's not me. That was the old me.
That's good.
Josh.
I know. Now you're like 3 minutes early. I'm ready. The annotated MST says, so when Andy goes out to take his walks, does he wear a Thought Spiral t-shirt? Or is he afraid people will want to talk to him while he's carrying ice cream?
That makes me laugh very much. That's the idea. Oh, that's very funny. And I do wear, well, here's the thing. I wear, when I go out, as you know.
He just has one that says, ask me about my podcast.
No, but for real, because I've been on Everybody Loves Raymond 30 years ago, and I've been on these various things, I don't like getting recognized, Josh. So what I do is I have one of those baseball caps. You know how I love those baseball caps.
Sure.
And shades.
Uh-huh.
And shades. And then as I walk by people, I just stare at them angrily, like, don't fucking even look at me.
That's good. But still give them $20, which is, it's a nice dichotomy.
$20. Do you think that all of my panicky behavior is in increments of 20?
I think it is now, yeah.
You have 100. Here's 100. Give me 100.
I can't make change for my anxiety. Change is hard. Change comes from within.
Oh.
Mozart is back to say, I'm finally saying goodbye to this Nazi refuge of a website, this being Twitter. Just got on Blue Sky, following each of you there. Didn't see a Thought Spiral account. Not even sure if Blue Sky works that way. Is there a way to ask show questions there so I can delete this account? Thanks.
Mozart, I gotta tell you, that's like, I understand your feelings.
If you want to just send them to me, I don't think I'm going to set up a Blue Sky Thought Spiral yet either. But
yeah.
But if you want to send them to me with the show, indicate the show, I'm happy to go to a third site for this segment.
Right. I mean, we just don't want to be presumptuous is what the thing is. You know what I mean? Like that this is going to be a lasting thing. Everything's being transferred. Please forward everything over to Blue Sky.
Right.
Care of
Richard Cole.
Richard Cole
Says, hi guys, do you have a favorite sports movie? Wow. Let me split it up by sports. I think baseball movie, probably Bull Durham.
What's that?
Bull Durham. It's probably my favorite.
I prefer the other one. I love Bull Durham, but I prefer Field of Dreams.
Okay.
But that's not a baseball movie, maybe you're saying.
It is essentially a baseball movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both are great.
Hockey, you probably got to go with Slapshot.
Which I haven't. I think I have seen it.
Football, probably my favorite is North Dallas 40, maybe?
You don't like Brian's song?
I don't like Brian's song, no.
Hey, everybody, come over here. I'm dying tonight. I would like to get everybody by the... Remember, I'll never forget when he said this. Whoever played that part, what is his name?
Was it Billy D. Williams who played Gil Sayers and James Caan who played Brian?
Look, I'm dying, assholes. But just when I'm gone, remember me for how I lived, please. And not for how I... That's the worst scene in the movie. Folks, guys, if you could just remember me for how I lived and not for how I... Thank you.
Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you.
What I was going to say, I like the movie with the boo, 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 boo. Is Chariots of Fire about chariots or is it about running?
It's about running.
I think that was a good one.
Okay.
Oh, Breaking Away.
Breaking Away is the best bicycling movie.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think you can divide movies like.
Although American Flyers isn't a bad.
I never saw it.
Movie. I think boxing. You got to go Raging Bull.
Yes.
Basketball's tough. Hoosiers is a leading contender, but I like Blue Chips kind of too, which was William Friedkin.
No Blue Chips.
I think that's it.
You're killing me. You're killing me with your ability to go 55. Okay, I get it. I am stupid. I don't know movies.
No comment.
BD West says, guys, I just watched Colin Quinn's New York special on residual free flicks and Gangs of New York on Super Betamax. That and a distinct odor of our downtown sidewalks. I think I really understand New York City in the 70s now. Andy, any more mugging or similar stories? JW, same cue. Well, let me tell you this, BD West. I was getting sick of true crime stuff. And it was because it was just, especially when it got to serial killing, you know. But I happened to watch this Times Square killer thing that Joe Berlinger wrote and directed. I think it's on Netflix. And that area is they're talking about exactly the area that I got mugged in. I got mugged on the corner of 42nd Street and 8th Avenue. And that area, they was part of this that got worse. It got worse post 1970 or whenever that happened to me. It got worse in the 70s, but it was really bad then. I don't know. Am I still talking just to talk or something?
I was just wondering myself.
Just go on. Why did you stop me? What are you on a break?
Christopher Citro says, I read recently, and by the way, no, I haven't had any street crimes against me other than someone breaking into my car.
Hotel Dixie. If someone could get the history of Hotel Dixie and post it, that'd be great.
Christopher Citro says, I read recently that chickadees add extra final D sounds to their call when they feel under threat. So no danger, chickadee. Big danger, chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. What do you do when you feel threatened, besides hand out 20s to homeless men?
You know, this is getting to be something. Why are they? Well, is this going to be on my grave? I gave 20s to homeless men.
The thing is, it's a delightful quality. It's just the fact that it's fear-based rather than generosity-based.
Well, the other thing about it is, please, and when historians look back on this, I hope people know that this is a terrible time period for homeless people, that this is not just like Mike Red Skelton doing his Clem Diddlehopper thing.
Yes.
This is a terrible time, and a lot of people are...
What is the opposite of a golden age? It's one of those for homeless people.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, so, you know, something to think.
Again, it's a generous instinct.
Eastside 76, I like that. I like that. I like the succinctness of it. Eastside 76 says, as a fat ass who moved to the Missouri from the USA, I really went from a California 3 to a Midwest 7. Can you translate that one for me? Oh, anyway, my kingdom for a double animal style. All right, I've destroyed the whole thing.
You really weren't very good with that again.
What, you want to take it again, or just tell me what it means?
Well, I went from a California 3, meaning on a scale of 1 to 10, he's a 3, to a Midwest 7.
Oh, he's in Missouri now?
Yes.
Am I supposed to say Missouri?
You don't have to. You're not from there.
No, he's in Missouri. Okay, that is... But where was he in California?
I don't know. That's not provided.
Oh God, Andy, please, Andy, sit down. Why don't you sit down? Why don't you read the last two questions while I'll take a sip of coffee? Not the last two questions.
You've met
of the
my
day.
friend. Missed the point. Mike Sislak says, since this is the last podcast that'll be recorded before my birthday rolls around. Okay, happy birthday, Mike Sislak. I think it'd be the perfect time for you to ask this. What is a perfect birthday celebration for you guys? Are you a stay-at-home and celebrate kind of guy, or do you prefer something else?
I don't go anywhere. Well, thank you, Mike, but I don't go anywhere since the pandemic. So I'm a stay-at-home.
But still in a perfect
in a perfect world, I'd like to go to I like a great restaurant. I love to go out to a great restaurant on my birthday.
Yeah.
And
do you like it when they know it's your birthday?
I do, but I don't, because I don't think I think Susan thinks it's a little, I could, you know what? She allows it, but it's not like I'm on a short leash. You know, the thing is this, I say I'm not on a short leash, but I literally am on a short leash that we take out because of the ADHD.
It's more of a harness, though. It's more of a harness than a leash.
No, seriously, because of the ADHD. I went out for a walk when I was 70. I'm waiting for me to come home yet. Ellen DeGeneres before her $90 million Netflix deal.
And I don't know. I don't have any. I don't have big birthday expectations anymore. If things go the way that you can go do something fun, I'm good with that. But if it just ends up being a normal day, I can pretty much swallow that down pretty good now too.
And happy birthday to you, Mike.
Especially since Twitter this year let me down so badly. I used to get hundreds.
What happened to Twitter?
I used to get hundreds of happy birthdays on my birthday.
Is something going on with Twitter?
I got 2 this year. 2.
I know, it's so terrible. And how about when we come up with our genius jokes now?
2.
Mort says, and finally for this area, and Mort says, does your mind ever just race with thoughts, particularly when you are trying to go to sleep at night? I wish you could turn off your brain sometimes. Hey, you're asking the guy, you're asking Mr. Mort, you're talking to Mr. Intrusive, unwanted thoughts. If I could stop those, I'd never leave the house.
I find if I have to listen to something in bed, I have to listen to a podcast or something in bed because otherwise I'm there. But the nice thing about ADD is you can use it against itself sometimes. So if there's something I'm supposed to be paying attention to, I will pay attention to that long enough to lose attention.
And then get sleepy.
And then be asleep.
Oh, that's great. I'm very proud of both of us. Anyway, that's a great show. If you want to give... I'm just joking. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to the crowd, for the Instagram part of the questions from Instagram part of the show are brought to you by... Who are they brought to us by?
Meta.
Okay.
Jacked Up Podcast says, why are you guys so incredible? You guys are killing it. Thank you, Jacked Up Podcast.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot to me because I don't really care. Josh is always like, we got to fucking make our bones we got to make our nut. We got to go down the mall openings. I say, Josh, just be happy that people enjoy it.
There's so much I have to learn. Evan Frierson says, growing up, I would be watching TV. The commercial break would start, and my dad would yell from another room, mute those commercials. Truly, it was not TV, but rather the commercials that got him. Anyway, muting commercials became a deeply ingrained habit. Andy, why no mute button for you? Are you a masochist?
Well, let me tell you something. My wife has already said to me that not that she would leave me, but she can't take it anymore. She knows balance of nature is bad. She never wants to hear it again. I needed to hear that in my own house. And so now I never want to be in real time, first of all. So also, I'm not watching MSNBC as much. But, I got the message. They're bad commercials. It's not everybody's fault that they're on. It's nobody else's fault than the people. It's too much pressure I'm putting on people about it.
A spanner is this is nice from Handshake. Says a spanner is a British way to playfully call someone a bit dim, but a spanner in the works is like saying a bump in the road. Catching COVID really threw a spanner in the works for our holiday plans, for example. You're perfect as you are, Andy. I just thought you might like a little British slang clarification.
Thank you so much. Who was that?
That was a nice firm handshake.
I really want to thank you. Thank you for restoring my faith.
More like a nice firm reach around, if you ask me.
Oh, come on. Do you have to make everything gross?
Yes. Yes, okay. I do. Have you smelled me? Munson 3786 says, Andy, far off in the future, when you move into the home, you may be in the dining room sharing a table with other residents. Here are some people you might see at your table because they were born the same year as you. Emo Phillips, Carol Leifer, Sinbad, and Bill Maher.
He is exactly my age because I realized that I looked up something. He went to Cornell, Cornell University.
Sure.
And I went to a state school.
Sure.
So he by definition had more cash than me. Well, no, I was trying to be a hero, I think, to my parents.
Saving the money?
Well, they didn't have that. It's like $1,900 a year with room and board.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Even in $1972 or whatever year it was.
Andy, you're very cheap. Even in 1972. No, that doesn't make sense because it's inflated.
Full Dork says best vacation destination. Not counting comedy gigs, that's work. I say New Orleans. I don't know. I mean, New Orleans is a good one because it fits my thing, which is good city where there's lots of good food.
Right.
Like, that's my favorite kind of vacation is go to a good city, stay in a good hotel for 3 nights.
Great food.
Get the fuck out. Act like you're made of money for 3 days, then get the fuck out.
And act like you've been somewhere before.
Yes.
As you always say.
Yes, Andy.
Yes, Andy.
Act like you haven't repeated that to me before. Dan Wade says, Andy, you don't know diddly. It's true. You don't.
I saw those pictures that he sent, though.
Yeah.
So you're right. I feel so terrible about it because I love Bo Diddley, but unfortunately, this is a sad thing, is I heard him through the Grateful Dead and the Rolling Stones. I'm like a white person who's stealing black people's music through the Stones.
You're the only one possible of cultural inappropriation.
I almost had that. You have to give me points for that.
Was that Bonanza you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went hoo hoo ha hee 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 hoo 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 ha.
Delicious Mick says, I'm writing a screenplay with Andy in mind. It's about an elderly Jewish man that forgets his identity after getting a malaria shot while traveling overseas. He winds up in India and decides to open a deli. The title of the film is Jewish Deli. You shouldn't have put deli so close to the other.
No,
you should have said delicatessen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or, no, you're right. It's such a weird thing that you can't repeat the thing.
Josh, your roll, ROLL, is undecided. So I don't know if that's a deli item, the roll of mine.
I think he's doing a double. I think he's doing a Spaniard in the works.
Who would you like to play? Also, you didn't answer last week's question. Andy just talked about jelly babies and Nesquik. Recurring nightmares? Got any? Peace and love on Rye. I do. My biggest recurring nightmare is the walking through school, going to the final that you didn't go to the class for.
And I have the same one, but it's usually in a theater production, and I'm the lead in a show that I don't know the words for.
Yeah, I think there's something telling about the fact that I don't have showbiz nightmares anymore. I used to. Nice from Handshake is back to say thank you for mentioning Zero Gravity. That would be the Wayne Shorter doc I talked about last week.
I'm gonna write it down again.
It's on Amazon. That completely flew under my radar, and I can't wait to watch it. Any other jazz docs worth watching? Birth of the Cool was okay, but I didn't think it needed to be 2 hours. I called Him Morgan is a must-see. It tells the incredible, compelling story of Lee Morgan, including his dramatic demise. Thanks for letting me double dip this week. Love you guys.
I love these. I love when people are getting involved, and I love these suggestions.
I'm trying to think of other good jazz. Straight No Chaser, the one about Thelonious Monk, was pretty good. I saw it many years ago.
What's that?
Straight No Chaser, I believe it was called.
About who?
Thelonious Monk.
Oh, okay. It's like I heard all the words that were coming out, but I didn't understand the concept. Straight No Chaser. I would like to see something about Monk. I know nothing about him. That's sad.
Yeah. Well, considering the Bo Diddley incident, not surprising. Florist77 says, doesn't cleese rhyme with cheese, not cleese like fleece? Yes, it does. In fact, we spoke of that at dinner. And
so what's the...
And I was saying cleese around the time of the dinner.
And it's not.
But I've reverted back to cleese. No, it is cleese. He says Americans just won't go there. But his name was changed from cheese. His father changed the name from cheese to cleese. And so
to avoid the cleese. Cleese.
Just because cheese was a troublesome name.
I wish I could go to a listening workshop.
But it's pronounced like cheese, cleese, not
cleese. Okay,
not cleese.
Now I got it. I remember. So my mind went out and in.
But I was being attentive to that, like right around when I met him. But I've reverted. I've reverted.
You know what? I would be going in there because of the OCD and the ADHD. I'd be going in there not sure which one was right.
Well, it doesn't come up usually someone's last name in a conversation anyway.
True.
We were talking about the mispronouncings of both of our names.
You two were this and that, and then you played golf together and the whole thing.
Wampus Reynolds says, hey guys, 323 shows. That's the same number of episodes as NCIS Los Angeles. Speaking of shows, I want to make one. Sad. I want to make one about a 60-something detective in the valley who trips all the time. It's called Shroomin' Oaks, P.I. Great pun, Wampus. Okay, you read the next one. He wrote.
Oh, cool.
But there is no next one, Wampus. You were hoisted on your own petard. Yeah, that's it. If you want to support.
Wow, what a great! I had a great time, and I feel like I'm gonna come off like a buffoon, like who's that guy? But everybody knows he's not entertaining, but he owns TV and he was a DJ and he's like he has a nondescript face and he's extremely famous. And he's not Carson Daly, but he's right.
Is this supposed to be like a cliffhanger? Is this like a cliffhanger you're trying to say?
No, you know what I'm talking about. The guy who owns TV, he produces all the shows.
Dick
he
Clark?
Produces them. No, new. Think of it like new. He's faceless. He's not faceless, but he's neutral in terms of having any effect on. Except he's a handsome fella.
Byron Allen?
No. He's I think he was a disc jockey even once, or
Ryan Seacrest?
Or he did the. Thank you. You have to separate the idiot from the artist.